Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Gitasha Sharma. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Monday, the 12th of December. 2 killed as cyclone makes landfall in India's southeast coast. Baloch activists across the world protest against policies of Pakistan, China. And Muslims observe Prophet Muhammad's birthday across India. And now for all the details. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and visiting Indonesian President on Monday held bilateral talks to bolster ties between the two countries. The two nations also signed agreements and agreed to build a strong economic and development partnership.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday met Indonesian President Joko Widodo, who was on a 2-day visit to India. Both the leaders agreed to prioritize defence and security cooperation, ensure the safety and security of the sea lanes in disaster response and environmental protection. Apart from building a strong economic partnership, India and Indonesia also agreed to extend their partnership in the field of combating terrorism, organised crime, drugs and human trafficking.
My extensive conversation with President Joko Widodo today focus on the full range of our cooperation. We agreed to prioritize defence and security cooperation. As two important maritime nations that are also neighbors, we agreed to cooperate to ensure the safety and security of the sea lanes in disaster response and environmental protection.
Memoranda of Understanding or MOUs were signed on cooperation in the areas of youth and sports and on cooperation in the area of standardization. Widodo reached the capital city early on Monday and was accorded a ceremonial welcome at the Presidential Palace Rashtrapati Bhavan. He will be meeting his Indian counterpart Pranab Mukherjee and Vice President Hamid Ansari later in the day. This is the first visit of the Indonesian president to India after assuming power in October 2014.
Staying on news from India, strong winds and heavy rains batter India's southeast coast as a severe cyclonic storm Varda made landfall near Chennai city on Monday. According to National Disaster Management Authority, at least 2 people died in Tamil Nadu province, at least 24 huts were damaged and around 8,008 people were accommodated in 95 relief camps.
Heavy rains pounded Chennai and north coastal districts of Tiruvallur and Kanchipuram in Tamil Nadu province, inundating low-lying areas as cyclonic storm Varda made its landfall. The high-velocity winds uprooted hundreds of trees in the process. Schools and colleges are closed and people have been asked to stay indoors as a precaution. Emergency response says they are poised and ready. The Army, Navy and Air Force have been put on standby to tackle any emergency. Heavy rains were also reported in neighboring Andhra Pradesh province.
जो साइक्लोन है वारदा, ये आफ्टरनून में जो है तमिलनाडु में चेन्नई को हिट कर रहा है और इसके बाद में ये अंदर तमिलनाडु क्रॉस करके कर्नाटका क्रॉस करके फिर अरेबियन सी जाएगा. तो कल ये जो है कर्नाटका पहुंच जाएगा और परसों जो है ये कर्नाटका से आगे बढ़ के गोवा के साउथ से निकल के ये अरेबियन सी में जाएगा.
Almost 50 flights were delayed or diverted to and from Chennai this morning and suburban train services have been suspended. The National Disaster Management Authority has advised people to remain in safe places and cooperate with state government officials and disaster management agencies.
Moving on to news from Afghanistan, the number of internally displaced persons in the war-ravaged nation has hit an all-time high. Lack of facilities and resources has made the situation worse.
Afghanistan has seen year-on-year increase in the number of internally displaced persons or IDPs, reaching record numbers this year with no sign of the trend slowing. Zainab and her family fled the conflict in eastern Afghanistan a year ago. She spends her mornings collecting fuel for her family's fire, mostly discarded bits of plastic.
We're seeing larger and larger numbers of Afghan families who are unable to return home for the long term, and so they're staying displaced for months, even years.
For the first time, all 34 of the Afghan provinces have internally displaced populations. Over the past year, around 600 families have arrived in one refugee camp in the east of Kabul. However, there are few facilities for them, no schools or medical clinics, and water wells have just appeared in the last 5 days. The Taliban and government-backed security forces have been in conflict for many years in Nangarhar province. The emergence of the Islamic State has brought a new level of violence there.
Meanwhile, people of southwestern Balochistan province for decades have been the victim of injustices unleashed on them by Pakistani authorities. To highlight the atrocities committed by Pakistan, Baloch political activists across the world held protests.
To mark International Human Rights Day, Baloch political activists across the world, including the UK, Canada, South Korea, Germany and other European nations, held protests against right violations by Pakistan on southwestern Balochistan province. In Geneva, Baloch activists from various political parties gathered at Broken Chair outside the UN office and shouted slogans against Pakistan and China. The protesters raised the issue of genocide by the Pakistan army in Balochistan and sought international intervention in the region.
We are protesting here to ask United Nations to intervene in Balochistan and stop human rights violations by Pakistani forces. And our struggle based on international laws. We hope United Nations and other champions of democracy will take immediate action against Pakistani barbarism and also against Chinese barbarism in Balochistan.
They also raised anti-China slogans to oppose the multi-billion-dollar China-Pakistan Economic Corridor or the CPEC. Baloch people claim that projects under the CPEC are an exploitation of their resources with zero benefits for them.
Moving on, a leader from Pakistan-administered Kashmir-based group alleged that Islamabad is paying hefty sums of cash to send terrorists across the line of control. He further claimed terror outfits which are banned in Pakistan under the National Action Plan are being allowed to operate from the illegally occupied region. In the past few months, the Indian Army has foiled several infiltration bids from across the border. There has been a spate in such attempts since India on September 29 announced surgical strikes against suspected militants attempting to infiltrate from across the border.
और आप किराए के कातलों को तैयार करके एक कातल करोड़ रुपए में आप हम बना के भेजते हैं एलओसी पर, जो वहाँ पर इंतशार की बुनियादी वजह है। हम पुरजोर मुतालबा करते हैं कि ये दहशतगर्दी बंद करो।
In news from Sri Lanka, in a record drug bust, Sri Lankan police seized about 0.8 tons of cocaine with an estimated street value of $80 million. It was seized on board an Indian-bound vessel docked in Colombo harbour. A report.
Following a tip-off received by the Sri Lankan Police Narcotics Bureau, about 0.8 tons of cocaine with an estimated street value of $80 million was discovered on board an Indian-bound vessel docked in Colombo harbour. The consignment of cocaine was concealed inside a container loaded with teak logs. Police narcotics officers say it is the largest quantity of cocaine detected so far in Sri Lanka and in the South Asian region.
අපේ දේශීය ජලතීරයේ තිබිච්ච වරදක් හැටියට අපට අවශ්‍ය නම් මීට අදාළ සැකකරු ඉන්දියාවේ ඉන්නවා නම් ඉන්දියානු රජය කැමති නම් ඔවුන් අපිට බාර දෙන්න අපේ අධිකරණයක නඩුවක් අහන්න පුළුවන්.
Rohana also said that the other option was to send the evidence to Indian officials who can then prosecute the suspects in India. The raid was carried out by 30 Anti-Narcotics Bureau personnel. Previous consignments of the drug were found in sugar shipments to the country from Brazil.
Muslims across India marked Eid-e-Milad with fervour. Devotees from all walks of life came out on streets to take part in processions held to commemorate the event.
Muslims across the world celebrated Eid-e-Milad un-Nabi, marked in the third month of the Islamic lunar calendar. It is a day of both celebration and mourning. On this day, both birth and death anniversaries of Prophet Muhammad are observed. Streets, mosques and buildings are decorated with illuminated lights, while Muslims light lamps and fireworks to mark the occasion. Strict security cover was also provided to avoid any mishaps during the celebrations. Ritual ceremonies were held across the country to commemorate the occasion.
हमारा दिन ये इस तरह से है कि हमारे नबी हमारे प्रॉफिट सल्लल्लाहु ताला अलैहि वसल्लम आज इसी दिन पैदा हुए थे और इसी दिन को हम मुसलमान सबसे बड़ा त्यौहार मानते हैं। तमाम ईद जितनी हमें आती है, तमाम जितने त्यौहार हैं, हम मानते हैं कि इसी की वजह से सारी चीज़ें मिली। जैसे कि हमारा अल्लाह फरमाता है कि हमने पूरी दुनिया को बनाया अपने प्रॉफिट के लिए, तो अब प्रॉफिट को बनाया इसीलिए दुनिया बनी।
Neighboring Nepal also marked the day with processions and recitation of hymns. The day of Eid-e-Milad is a day dedicated to the teachings of the last prophet of Islam. Devotees also recite Naat Sharif or poetry and sing hymns in praise of the prophet on the occasion.
India's northern Ladakh region is replete with innumerable traditions and customs. Recently, an archery tournament was organized in the region for the promotion of the sport among the youth.
India's remote Himalayan region, Ladakh, in Jammu and Kashmir province is known for its rich cultural heritage and tradition. Recently, an archery tournament was organized for the benefit of the youth and the promotion of the sport in the region. Large number of people enthusiastically participated in the event, cheering on their favorite player and team.
आर्चरी जो एक लद्दाख का बहुत अच्छा एक ट्रेडिशन है, तो इसको हम जो ना बरकरार रखने के लिए हमने ये ऑर्गेनाइज किया है। इससे पहले आर्चरी में तो कम टीम यानी हिस्सा लेते थे। अभी इस वक्त जो ना हमारे आज के दिन में 28 टीम ने इसमें बढ़ चढ़ के हिस्सा लिया है। हमें बहुत फ़ख्र है कि अगर ऐसे कोई भी अगर यानी छोटे बच्चे इसमें हिस्सा लें तो इसमें जो ना तो आगे यानी पहुंचने के लिए यानी सिर्फ पढ़ाई ही नहीं बल्कि इस गेम में हिस्सा लें तो आगे पहुंचने के लिए बहुत बड़ा स्कोप है सर।
The trophy for the best archer of the day, followed by the second and third positions, were handed out at the event. Funds raised from the tournament will be used for the construction of the monastery gate, which is worth about $22,000. Last year, the funds raised were used to impart computer training to students.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. 2 killed as cyclone makes landfall in India's southeast coast. Baloch activists across the world protest against policies of Pakistan, China. And Muslims observe Prophet Muhammad's birthday across India. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.